I'm so excited to be bringing you Draftstars content again for the 2023 season. For those that haven't played before, this is a daily fantasy platform on your app and also on the desktop here, where it's scoring very similarly to our NRL fantasy here. We'll just display that here now. And there is free versions. There are paid versions here where you can win money. So there's obviously gambling here. So please do gamble responsibly with money that you can afford to lose. But scoring here, as we said, very similar to that of NRL fantasy. Kick meters is the one that's slightly different, given that it is very similar to, it's the exact same that it was a couple of years ago before they made changes there. So you get half the points there. Instead of divided by a third there, which it is currently, you get the half. So kick meters there, if you get 50 points, 500 kick meters, you get 25 points, which is pretty crazy there in that one. Tackle bust is still at 3 and offloads is at 2. Other than that, it's all very much the same. You don't get turnover tackles and the like there, kick defusals, those type of ones, but overall it's just a very simple way to score things. And I'm going to be going through one long form video a week, guys. That is this one here, where I'll go through each of the games. And then if you go over to my YouTube Shorts account and also my TikTok, you'll see the short form video under a minute there for each of the games. If you like the quick and punchy content there, that will be there. And then you'll have the long form where I go into a little bit more detail on each of those players. So if you are interested in signing up, guys, jump into the description below. We do have an affiliate link there where you can click that. Draftstars and PlayUp, so the gambling company along with the daily fantasy, have merged together. So you can gamble on all your sports, your first try scorers, same game multis, all that type of thing, along with playing your daily fantasy with Draftstars. So with that all done and dusted, let's get into these games. And we're going to have a look at the Eagles v the Eels to kick things off. And you look at this one here, and there's a fair bit to talk about around some of these players. And obviously the outside backs, there's no real home run hit in this one. Guys like Tom Trbojevic would have the most upside. Obviously Garrick scored the best last week. You know, Tommy was first game back from his injury, so he would have the most upside, along with someone like, you know, Clint Gutherson, who's very much like a 30 and then get a 60 type of guy. And I think guys like Talatau Kola as well at 11,600, he can come out and get a 40 plus and do a good job for you at that price. If you're looking to the halves there, then there's a couple obviously that are super high in value there with Cherry Evans and Mitch Moses. Brownie's going to be a guy that could be up and down as well. Very much the same with someone like Lockie Croker. So Croker at 14,000, if you want to spend money elsewhere than Tommy and stuff like that, then Croker could be the guy that I think you should select. This week, you could get like a 55 or a 60 if he bundles over for a try, and then probably just 41 as the base there. Daly come out and got that 91 last week with 3 tries. Is he going to do that weekly? No. So someone like, you know, Croker, I think could be the play here. But if you have the money to spend, then I would pick Cherry Evans over Moses, who has also had a great couple of first weeks. So moving to the forwards and options here, really, you have to lock in Hopgood. He is the clear best option this week. Campbell Gillard and Junior Paulo there have had really big minute games. Can they continue that? I'm not exactly sure, but someone like Olakau'atu could come out, I think, and clearly pick up a try or two against that really poor left edge right now with the Eels. They're getting constantly out of position with Cartwright and Brownie in that position. So I think Olakau'atu and also Hopgood are the clear good options. Someone like Cartwright, you'd expect him to come out and score really well again at that 14,000, and then cheaper from there, guys like Matt Dury at 9,800. You got Bullymore and, you know, these types of plays here. Sean Kepi at 9,000, got a 38 last week. I think he needs to be in your side over Bullymore. I think Bully had a bit of an extended game there with, you know, a few tackle breaks and offloads there. So Kepi, probably the cheap one, and they're the guys I'd be looking at in that game. The Knights v the Dolphins, and in the outside backs there's definitely a few options. Guys like Lockie Miller, I think, are way too expensive in this game at 19,000. You can get much better options in guys like Dane Gagai, who could come out and do really well. But guys like Hamiso, I think, is a must-have in this one. Just has the upside there at 46. Has scored tries the first few games, but I don't think there's any reason why he can't score again in this one. Someone like Jermaine Osako at 12,000. Again, he's going to be that boom or bust type of player. So if you could go for him, that would work as well, along with someone like Dom Young in the outside backs. For the halves there, it's very, very hard to pick. I would suggest in this one, guys like Isaiah Katoa could come out and do enough for you. You have Cody Nikorima in the 9 jersey as well. So at 11,000, he could be a guy to do a job for you. But other than that, like, I really don't think this is a great position to pick. So I'd probably go cheap in this one and spend up in the forwards, which here you see, yeah, a few different okay options, to be honest with you. Guys like Tom Gilbert, I think, need to be selected this week. Mark Nichols, so probably these kind of middle numbers here you want to be selecting. Fitzgibbon could come out and score a try as well, but I think he's going to be hit and miss. Lemmy Lou came out and scored great first game. Jared Wallace had a bit of an issue last week, but Leo Thompson, I think, is the way to go. So an 11,700 guy, 13, 8, and 15,000 are the three guys I'd be selecting, with Thompson starting in that role, and I would expect about a 40 from him. Brody Jones starting on edge, is going to be okay for him, but is that the way you want to play things here? Really, that's the question, the way you want to go in that one. So that's that game number 2. Roosters v the Bunnies in this one. Very clear the types of players you'd be looking to select. Obviously, guys like Teddy haven't started really well. Someone like Latrell at 3,000 less than Tedesco needs to be selected in your side. I think that's very, very simple here. Someone like Isaiah Tass coming out and averaging 46 across the first couple of games at 12,500, and that's with no real attacking stats for the most part. He had one try, but other than that, no real, nothing big on offloads and tackle breaks there. So Tass is a great option there. Swilly had a great game last week, so either of them, I think, are the way to play it. If you want to go a bit cheaper and spend up in like the half position, for example, where you've got the half and hooker there, Damien Cook at 21.5. If you want to pick him up, I think he's a great one. And then Sammy Walker, number 2. Other than that, no one else I'd really look to be selecting in this one. Ilias had a cracking first game, but I doubt it's going to happen again for him. In terms of the forwards, guys like Cam Murray had a pretty slow start, to be honest with you. Pretty good in the first game. Second game, not so much. So he's going to be solid in this one. Colin Matangi, can he pick up a try on that newer left edge of the Egan Butcher there, for example? I think he can. Do you select him? It's a question mark there. Guys like Egan Butcher, I wouldn't be looking to go for him at the moment. It just doesn't look like he's playing super well at the moment. There you've got Lindsay Collins, who's going to be great, but guys like Cheekham scoring a 40 on that edge. You've got Shaq Mitchell, who I think will still get some decent minutes this week. They're the ways I would go in this one at that cheaper price, and then go for one of the big dogs in that game. Let's move to the Titans and the Storm, and the outside backs for them. There's a few options, obviously, with guys like Brimson, who came out and got a 44. Really, other than that, him and Meaney, I would go Brimson over Meaney at this point. The Titans do need to bounce back, but how the Storm can handle things, I think, can they handle their business? Definitely. Are they going to exactly? I feel like this is a game that could go either way. So I don't have a suggestion as to going clearly all Storm players or clearly all Titans players. So guys like Warbrick, I think, can do a job out there, and obviously guys like Brimson. Other than that, not a lot of ways to go in that outside backs position for sure. Harry Grant's a clear best option here. Hughes has had a couple of good games. You see Chris Randall get the 9 job, guys. So with him there, I think he can come out and get a 40 plus, and at that price would be completely worth it in your side. Other than that, they're the only guys I'd be looking at. Tanner, not great, to be honest with you, over the first few weeks. First week was solid. Round 2 wasn't so good, so he has to bounce back. I'm not sure if he can do it in this one. He's too much of a risk in my eyes. For Feeder, I think it's time for him to score some tries, but he's very expensive at 22.6. So someone like Welch, I think he can get some good value out of, along with Josh King. And with their middles out, I think Josh King still plays some big minutes this week. Eli Katoa is one of those guys that can make or break your week. He had a really good game last week, as you can see there at 46.5, and then the 39 the one before. So obviously line breaks in this version don't give you a lot of points, and had limited tackle bust where you probably could have had a bit more if just someone threw a hand out or something like that. So Katoa is one of those guys that could do a great job. Stimson as well, he's obviously fairly cheap, but he's going to be a hit or miss type of guy as well. So that's all I'd be looking at. Josh King, I think, is probably the most important one in that matchup. Cowboys v the Warriors here. So the outside backs for them, we're looking at really Val Holmes to step up. You get Tom Chester in there, which is going to be very, very interesting. He's at that cheap price, obviously, as well, at the 9.9. I don't know why they've given him the extra 900k, maybe just because he's playing fullback, but still at that price there, I think he can get you like a 30 odd. But really, the only one I'm excited for in this position would be Val Holmes. In the halves and the hookers, can you spend a little bit less? I think you definitely can. It might be more of like a Wade Egan type. I think would be the way to go in this one. At just under 16k, really, that's probably the way to go. 1.5k cheaper than Johnson. I think they can both score similarly, but both really relying on attacking stats. Johnson a little bit less with his kick meters, and Wade obviously with his tackles that he can provide there. In the forwards, you got guys like Ruben Cotter and Harris. I think clearly you pick Tohu at this stage. He's the same price and is averaging much more. And I think, that he's cemented with those big minutes. So he's the play there. Mitch Barnett at 17.4. He's the next guy I'd be going for at those sort of prices there. Nano hasn't scored super well, so I think you can avoid him. Guys like Niokore at 12,500 would be the next play. With him having some nice attacking stats last week. Not as good the first week, but I think just that alone will do a good job for you there. We move to the Broncos v. the Dragons, and outside backs, it's very hard to go past anyone but Reece Walsh at 14k. He's very, very appealing there, and Herbie Farnworth. So could you go both of those guys? I think you really can. Guys like Moses Suli, if you don't have the money for. Those guys up above, he could be the way to play. I would go Suli over Ravalawa, just much safer. And I still think he has the upside with the tackle breaks and the like there. Ravalawa had just an absolutely spectacular performance. If we're looking in the halves, I still think the Broncos can win this. So someone like Reynolds is going to be a great play. But if you don't have the cash for that, then someone like Ezra Mam at 9k cheaper is clearly the way to go. He's going to have great upside. They could potentially come out and smash these Broncos. So that would be the way that I'm playing it here. In terms of the forwards, guys like Jack Bird, I think he's a little bit too expensive in this game to be able to pick. Payne Haas is a clear one to come out and select there. The tackle breaks are his game, and he's averaging 69, so he could come out and do that again very easily if you have that extra cash. Carrigan dealing with a little bit of an issue. He got his wisdom teeth pulled out, and his face is still puffy and going through that there. So there's a good chance that he's in a lot of doubt apparently. So that's that. Blake Laurie scored a try, so don't be fooled by him. And later on from there, guys like Ben Murdoch-Masila I think will be better. But how much better is the question mark there. So I think up top, you got to go, and then you can pick a bunch of these sort of middle range type of guys. Flegler would be a solid one to get you like a 40. But other than that, nothing clearly stands out for me in that game. In terms of the Bulldogs v. the Tigers, there's a lot of limited options here. Guys like Karaz, clear. Guys like Kapoa, clear options. And then it's like Perham. Do you go him at the 9.9? Do you go Alamotti? I think one of those two guys is your next selection. And that would be all the kind of guys I'm looking at. So 3 or 4 options there. Anyone else avoiding at this point? Asu Kapoa. If Bateman isn't in and starting, then select him for sure in the back row. Halves and hookers there. Adam Dewey, again, dealing with a little bit of an issue with him at the moment. So he's obviously the clear best option up top. And if you can't go for him, then Reed a little bit cheaper. If it comes game day and Dewey's in a little bit of doubt or he's not playing, then Reedy's next. They're the only 2 options in the half and the hooker position. And you move on to the forwards. I don't think Bateman's going to play at this point. So if you're looking down the line, I think guys like Maxi King are going to be a clear option here. I think he's going to hit about that 55. Last week, 49, 52 in the week before. That 50 mark, it's sort of, solid at that point. If you want to get someone that's going to average about the same, then Ryan Sutton cheaper is the clear way to go. And then our cheaper guys, Utuakamanu scored a try last week. I don't think he's the play. Someone like Jacob Preston at 10,800 is a must-have in this one. And Shawnee Bloor, if he gets that start at 9k, they're your 3 selections in that one. And the last one of the round, guys, here is the Raiders v. the Sharks. And make sure you check out my shorts to get an update, because I will be doing them daily, whereas this one is on the Thursday. So things change, late mail, injuries, suspensions, and the like. So make sure you check out those short videos on TikTok and also NRL Fantasy Analysis on the YouTube shorts there, which is easy to find. Okay, if you're looking at the outside backs in this game, Sharkies v. the Raiders there. Guys you'd be looking at, obviously these outside backs haven't done too well. Kennedy had a better game, but I still think you can go for guys like Ramian, who could come out and score a try in this one. I would go him over Talakai, and then Katoa and Ronaldo there. Obviously should have scored in round 1, didn't happen. Harley Smith-Shields is going to be a solid one, guys. Albert Hopewade in the wing spot. Yeah, probably a bit of a pass at this point. So not super exciting. Guys like Harley Smith-Shields, as I said, the cheaper guy to pick. Matt Tomoko, again, okay. If we're looking at halves hookers, the safest guy on this list is going to be Braden Trindle. Get him in your side, lock him in. Simple as that. Guys like Danny Levi and Starling, I'd be picking Starling because he's going to play a bit of 9 and also a bit of 13. So you see over the first couple of games, he did a great job and he's cheaper than all the rest. So it goes Trindle, Starling, and then Blake Brayley for me. And then we move to the forwards, and you've got Tapani up there, 23,600 is just a little bit alarming at how expensive that is when you can go for someone like Teague Wilton or Finucane or Harawira Naira, who can get to you sort of a 45 to 50 at way cheaper prices. So if you spend up money elsewhere, guys, then you're going to have to go for these middling type of guys with, Gula, for example, Horsburgh, both averaging just over 40 and are much cheaper in your side. And then if you want to get lucky, someone like Royce Hunt, Braden Hamlin-Uele, who is starting, who could come out and get a try, would be the play. But I think those sort of Emre Gula and then a couple of middling price guys is the way to go. So that's the 8 games for this week, guys. Again, a big thank you to Draftstars for having me on, and PlayUp for having me on there this year. Jump in the description, guys. Click that affiliate link. I'd really appreciate that. Just lets them know that people are actually coming to their site from my page. So a big thank you to all you guys watching, and I appreciate you watching this each and every week and checking out those shorts in the shorts bar in YouTube there. Thank you very much. Good luck.